Oh, we're looping. We're looping.
Got it on loop, baby.
Let's do it again.
Bring it around again. Run it back. Racetrack that action.
All right. What is going on, everybody? We got the double psych up.
It has been a day. It has been a night, folks.
Yeah. So we had some technical difficulties last night. The wind was blowing the internet around. And we did not record on our typical Wednesday night recording, so we're doing it on Thursday night. So thanks everyone for being patient with us.
And evidently Thursday night recordings are just a debacle. Like, I do not recommend.
Yeah. So if you're recording on Thursday nights, and you want to make sure that you hit record.
Oh man, good stuff.
Before you start, and don't do 25 minutes of the show without actually recording.
Oh,
so
shoot.
Anyway,
awesome. Here we are.
Yes, episode 8. Welcome back to Ultra Running News Network. Thanks for joining us. We do have a awesome jam-packed show tonight. We're going to go over some race results, and we have the Black Canyon 100K preview and predictions that we're going to go over. It's going to be a pretty epic Black Canyon this year. There's lots and lots of fast runners and good ultra runners in it.
Some young guns too.
Yeah, some runners that might surprise some people.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about all that, and we're also going to go over this new tracking system, Active Track. It's pretty cool that we heard about, and also another really interesting guy in the ultra running world that just recently did an awesome accomplishment. So we'll save that for when we get to it. All right. Should we dive into some race results here?
Let's talk about the races.
All right. We're going to start with Rocky Raccoon. Okay. Rocky Raccoon was just absolutely crazy this year. They had a bunch of rain down in Texas leading up to the race. And for those of you who don't know Rocky Raccoon, it's a pretty well-known 100-miler in February. It's a 5-loop, 20 miles per loop course. And this year they had an extraordinary amount of rain. And so there was literally like standing water all over. There was like rivers that weren't even rivers before flowing through the course.
Rivers.
And if it wasn't underwater, it was like completely mud. So
yeah.
It was a crazy year for Rocky Raccoon, and we do have a little video footage here from that race.
Crazy.
Yeah. So basically, he's walking right through a river that is just one of the many rivers on course this year.
What's crazy about the picture of the video, since some of the folks listening on podcasts can't see this, not only is it like, I don't know, this guy's a little taller. It's a little over his ankle. It's maybe like just mid shin deep. But here's the other crazy part. One, it's running at a pretty good clip. Like it's got like a little roll to it, but it's wide. Like you can't see the end of the river or the start of the river from where these people are standing and the videos and pictures are in. Like nuts, just absolutely nuts how much rain they got down there.
Yeah, you can totally tell that this particular river in this video is not normally a river. It was just like rain like collecting in the woods and just flowing. Water finds the path of least resistance, and there it goes. And friend of the pod. Well, we say he's friend of the pod. He's he doesn't really know us.
He doesn't know he is, but he is.
And Andrew Glaze, the guy who runs 100-mile weeks. He's had 100-mile weeks for over 200 weeks straight. He ran this 100-miler, and there was a video on his Instagram page of his taking his shoes and socks off after the race, and they're just caked. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I can only think of like I don't know, maybe a handful of races I've been that bad, but I mean, like, it's it's Ohio, so you're kind of used to it, right? Like, I
yeah,
can't. I think he said it really well when he's talking about like the one river had formed. That's just normally a low area. So when you go run this race, like, they were not ready for this mud, but the people still like they knocked it out of the park. They killed it. Like aid stations are up and running. They did a great job.
yeah, exactly. So we can go ahead and get into the results here. First place overall was Terry Palmer, and he ran 16 hours and 57 minutes. So sub 17-hour Rocky Raccoon, which might not be like super fast for that race, but I would say that's
Still,
pretty
it's good.
pretty spectacular
Yeah,
for the conditions to go sub 17 on
it
that
looks like
course.
one of those lizards. You know, the lizard you see like about them, like running across the water. That had to been what he looked like going across the water and mud down there, like just like boop, 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 feet barely touching.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. Andrew Glaze said that he ate shit like a couple times in that race,
Yeah,
and he had a bunch of sand up in his
nether regions.
nether regions.
Yeah, crazy.
I couldn't imagine the chafing there, so
Mm,
he said he
mm-mm.
had to get that cleaned out. Um, and Lindsay Dwyer, she's a really solid ultra runner, and she took first for the ladies in 18 hours and 55 minutes. So pretty good. And there was a 100K version of this race too. And Isaac Sanderson got first, 10 hours and 23 minutes. And first place female was Jessa Victor at 10 hours and 44 minutes. Her last name's Victor, and she was the victor.
The victor. See what you did there.
Yeah. All right. So that was Rocky Raccoon. That's why the episodes started off with the title Muddy Raccoons.
Yeah.
But I'm sure everybody picked up on that. All right. Let's move on to Elephant Mountain. Elephant Mountain is an air viper race in Arizona. It's I think it starts and ends in Cave Creek, Arizona, or it starts in Cave Creek, Arizona. But it's another air viper race. As we all know, Arizona is full on for racing season right now.
Hmm.
While it's not 120 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. Before your shoes melt in the sand. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Uh, there was a record for the 50 miler. Cordis Hall finished in 7 hours and 44 minutes. That was a course record, not a world record or anything, but
Yeah.
uh, the 50-mile course record at Elephant Mountain. And Nick Curry, who's Jamil Curry's brother, also, and Nick is he's a speed demon. He finished in 8 hours and 23 minutes. First place for the females was Bailey Lange or Lange. Not sure if I pronounced that right. She finished in 10 hours and 40 minutes. So congrats to her. And there was also a 50K. There's a bunch of different distances, but 50 mile and 50K are the two ultra distances. 50K was Joe Corcione. He finished in 4 hours and 36 minutes. First place female was Kelly Cockrell in 5 hours and 46 minutes. So that is your Elephant Mountain results. Next up, we talked about running up for air at pretty great length in a previous episode. And running up for air started by Jared Campbell and in Salt Lake City. He basically wanted to raise money for some organizations that that do political activism for getting policies passed because for pollution control, because in Salt Lake Valley, which is where millions of people live, there's just in winter there's just this smog, like there's nowhere for it to go. It can't escape. So
Like
uh,
ranked the worst in the U.S. or something crazy like that on that day they talked about. It's crazy. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, and he first noticed it when he was running. He was doing training for Barkley and doing
Hmm.
these laps up and down this mountain, and he would notice that once he got up to a certain point, he was looking down on the smog, and he was like breathing clean air when he was up in the higher elevations. So that's what gave him the idea. So he was like, "I'm gonna do this for 24 hours up and down, and have people donate per lap," and it blew up into this huge event, which a lot of people do now, and they have multiple events all over out west. I think there's one in Wyoming. There's a few in
Up in
Utah.
Washington, I think there's a couple of Washington too.
Yep, Washington. So there's multiple locations now doing this event on different weekends, and also Patagonia has joined in to the cause, and they do some of their own Rufa events where they leave and come back using their stores as a base, and also they're going to put on a virtual Rufa this year in June. So we've been talking about, and you can do it anywhere. The virtual Rufa, you can pick your hill that you want to go up and down, and so we might try to do that. Maybe we get our listeners to sign up, and we can all join in the same Strava group or something, and just calculate our
Just
our total vert.
dominate the team competition.
That's right. And okay, so let's get into these race results. So this is it's 5.8 miles. So you go you go 2
2-4.
point, yeah, 2.9 up, 2.9 back. So it's basically 3 miles and like 2,400 feet of climbing. So I mean, that's a pretty serious climb. So 5.8 per lap, and you see how many laps you can do in the time allotted. In the 12-hour event, Mike Mike Cappy from Salt Lake City, he finished first. He did 8 laps, so 46.4 miles, and a crap load of elevation gain in 11 hours and 20 minutes. And first place female for the 12-hour event was Cody Mathig, and she's also from Salt Lake City, and she did six. She did 6 laps, so 34.8 miles, and also a shitload of elevation gain
The great thing about hers is she did those 6 laps, right? In how many hours?
in 10 hours and 7 minutes. So
So
she had 12 hours.
she's like, you know what? The last 2 hours, you can have them. You can have them. I'm not going to make it up and down in 2 hours. So I guess, right? You would think she can make one more, but I don't know. Maybe she's like, I'm tired. I know the next
Yeah.
person's not going to catch me. I'm good.
Yeah, it would have been pretty tight, right? Because you're
Yeah.
you're getting you're getting pretty wiped out at
Hot.
that point.
Yeah.
6 laps, you've done, let's say, 2,500 feet of climbing. That's, I don't know, that's thousands of feet of climbing. So
Hmm.
many thousands of feet of climbing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fully support the decision to not go out and try
let him,
another
let him, yeah, let him get their
another
two
lap.
hours.
In the 24-hour event, uh, Kelly Halpin, she's from Wilson, Wyoming. She got first place overall, and she did it in 23 hours and 31 minutes. That's 69.6 miles.
Mm.
And second place, right behind Kelly, was the founder of the OG, the godfather of the
The
event,
man.
Jared Campbell, 3-time Barkley finisher, also. uh,
Oh, by the by.
yeah, by the way. So Jared finished right behind Kelly in 23 hours and 49 minutes, and he also did 12 laps. So cool event. We'll more to come on the virtual event in June. All right, next race we're going to talk about is Arrowhead 135.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Arrowhead is a pretty well-known race. It's been around for a while, I think, and it's basically 135 miles. I believe it starts or ends in International Falls, Minnesota,
Mm.
which is pretty far north in Minnesota. So it's usually between 0 degrees and negative 60 degrees when they do it. And there's usually a ton of snow on the course. They have a bike division, they have a foot division, they have a kick sled division, and a ski and kick sled. I'm sorry, there's three things: bike, foot, and then ski and kick sled. So this year was a little odd for them. Um, this article goes over how it was a much warmer than usual year, and it created very difficult trail conditions. Because usually there's snow, right? Enough snow to where there's a nice, groomed trail, and the people on foot will carry their sleds with all their gear, because this is largely an unsupported event. I think there's only
Yeah.
one aid station like halfway through. There's a few different checkpoints, I believe, but there's one station where you can get aid, and the rest is pretty much self-supported. You're carrying your stuff on a sled. So since it was so warm this year, they didn't have as much snow on the trail, and the Nordic ski and kick sled categories had to be canceled because of the lack of snow. And what snow remained was often like mush and above freezing temperatures. So very slushy. And also there was multiple sections with standing water, right? So I heard stories of the bikes. They had to they couldn't ride all the way through. They had to
Oh,
push through this water points. And
I still like I you and I were talking about earlier. I still love the like the story header. I still
yeah.
love that. Like, only in this race do you get the title of lack of snow plagues racers. Like, the lack of snow is what the issue was. So I it's a hilarious story. Like, it's just brutal race day
Yeah,
because of no snow. Like, I love it.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned it earlier, Johnny. You said that it's kind of weird to see an ultra race where they want snow. They're
They
upset when they
need,
don't have
yeah,
it.
they need snow. Yeah, they don't want it. They need it.
Yep. So yeah, very difficult year for Arrowhead, and let's get into the results. In the foot category, which would be the runners, hikers, and this year swimmers. Um, Alan Alan Chapman got first place overall in 34 hours and 42 minutes. And first place female was Emily Kratz in 43 hours and 17 minutes. So you were
So
you were
long.
you were talking earlier, Johnny, about how the winning time here was pretty much double
Double,
the winning
double.
time at Rocky Raccoon,
Yeah.
and
It's funny because,
35
like,
more miles.
yeah. I mean, here you're only. I mean, listen at us. You're only going 35 more miles, but it shouldn't take you. Like, the same
Yeah,
amount of time it took you to go 100. It just doesn't. But it's just funny how the race conditions were weirdly probably pretty close to the same, right? They're both underwater. They're both super
yeah,
muddy, but
yeah,
it's just, man, Arrowhead. It's designed to be like where you can drag your food with you and all that kind of stuff. It's I, miserable. I can't wrap my head around how miserable they
yeah,
were because they were too warm. At the end of the day, like crazy.
yeah. It's Arrowhead is a different beast for sure. Um, and we were talking earlier about how most of the entrants in Arrowhead are from the north. Typically when it's really cold, you don't see too many people from the south signing up. There's a couple people from Florida.
The one from Florida. What did he do the racing? I think he was a guy, right?
I think I saw 2 from Florida, and here's one. Simone Valentine Austin,
How'd she do?
and 52 hours and 39 minutes.
Finished though.
That's right.
That's right.
And
52 hours.
the other one from Florida was Joe Falcone in 58 hours and 24 minutes. So
Finished though.
that's grinding.
That's because the 60-hour cutoff. Yes, that's grinding. To like right down to the wire.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, let's move on here to the local race and down in the South Bay that your boy did over the weekend.
It's weird. There's a misprint though, because it's not saying you won the race.
Yeah, well, I got to get a hold of that race director and let them know they
Get
made
my
a
name right.
serious mistake. But
Yeah.
no, that is true. I definitely did not win this race. I wish I was fast, but the truth is I'm not. I got ninth place out of 13 people that did the 50K. I it was using it for a training run for muck, so
Yeah.
I wasn't like out to win it this time,
It's pretty wild. They're saying 13 people ran a 50K.
It was a very small, low key
Yeah.
event, Mount Umunum 50K.
Yeah.
And I was using it for a training run. I thought, it's about 6,300 foot of climbing, and it's on a lot of non-technical fire roads. There was maybe
Mhm.
like 6 miles of technical trail throughout the race, so I definitely wanted to get under 7 hours. I did have to make a detour to use the restroom. It was an emergency. So I ended up going an extra 0.6 miles during the race. I couldn't wait till the next bathroom, which was 5 miles away. So
it's you had to go that far. I mean, great thing about running in the woods, you only got to go about 0.6 feet. You're like, behind a tree here.
Trust me, I wanted to do that, but the fire road it was either straight up on one side or straight down on the other side, and it was a ton of undergrowth. So that was a no-go. Trust me, I did not want to go 0.6 extra miles, but but it was kind of a force to. But anyways, it all worked out, but I didn't get under 7 hours. I got 7 hours and 30 seconds. So if I went a detour, I would have got under 7 hours. But
easily.
Anyway, Brian Stevens got first, and he did it in 5 hours and 14 minutes. And there was no females in the 50K. Yeah, it was just a sausage 50K sausage fest.
I was thinking the same thing. That's wild.
13 people. Yeah, there was, I think, in some of the there was in the marathon there was a few.
Even
females.
those are really small. That's a small entry list.
Yeah, 11 people did the marathon. A couple of people from Colorado actually, which is kind of weird that they would travel for that unless they were already out here for some reason.
Getting out of the snow
to do it. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Uwari. I think this is about the point in time last broadcast that we realized that we weren't actually recording.
That's awesome.
So Uwari is kind of a race that, I don't know much about it, but I always see it listed in Ultra Running Magazine or articles about it. So it's kind of a famous race. It's a 40 miler. I'm sure some of our listeners are familiar with this race or actually ran the race. But first place in Uwari 40-mile mountain run was Derek Fox. He did, 6 hours and 57 minutes, 40 miler. And first place female was Emily Fagan, and she did 8 hours and 5 minutes. So congrats to them.
That is a old school looking website they have too.
Yeah, that's the where the results took me
Yeah.
to a PDF. So, but that's cool. I
Yeah.
like the old school stuff
Yeah.
like that. Next thing I want to talk about is this FKT. It's San Jacinto Peak, and this is down in Palm Springs. Okay, there's this mountain in Palms. It's crazy how you has that flat desert Palm Springs, and then
Hmm.
right at the edge of town is just this mountain that goes up, and you can actually take a tram up there. I've taken a tram up there once, up the mountain, and it was 70 and sunny when we left to go on the tram. And by
Yeah.
the time we got up to the top of this mountain, there was a foot of snow up there.
No kidding.
So, yeah, so it's pretty cool. And this you don't have to take the tram. You can go by trail, and that's
Yeah.
what this FKT is. Okay. It's 17 miles up,
Okay.
10,400 feet of climbing.
Whoa. Hold on. Wait. Hit me with that again.
It's 17 miles up,
Damn.
10,400 feet of climb.
So it's just 17 miles.
Well, so the FKT is several different divisions.
Yeah.
One is you go up and down, so it's 35 miles,
Right. But
and
this is
the
just
other is straight up. This particular one was the up and down,
okay.
35-mile.
I mean, what really kind of blows my mind though, it's just a flat out. It's 17 miles up, right, or 17 miles.
Yep.
But in that 17 miles, in just 17 miles, you have 10,000 plus feet of gain.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that's. I mean, that
Yeah.
is running up a mountain.
I'll zoom in
Not
on the map here. You can see it says downtown Palm Springs right
yeah,
here, and
it's
then
right there.
the trail just goes
Oh,
just right up that mountain.
that's really cool.
It is cool, and it's really neat up there at the top too. If anybody's ever in that area.
How tight the switchbacks are at the top of that thing. I mean, they're just.
Oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
mean, whew,
It's really cool up at the top. There's actually a bar up at the top, so you can
yeah.
like get a drink, and yeah, it's kind of cool at the top of the tram. So, anyways, FKT was recently set there. Helen Mino Faulkner, which her name sounds really familiar. She did unsupported up and down 7 hours and 54 minutes.
Mm,
That's pretty stout.
God. I mean,
Yep.
the kind of the cool thing about like, I mean, 34 miles, right? So those are ones that you absolutely just get the like, oh, I'm gonna do it unsupported and just really rock it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
cooking.
She set that on January 30th. So
Nice.
like a little over a week ago. The unsupported male FKT on that was set in 2023 in October of 2023 at 6 hours and 11 minutes. So yeah, so pretty cool deal. I would like to do that trail someday
I,
actually, but
yeah,
I might take
yeah.
the tram down.
I was gonna say that's definitely one of the ones where like, yeah, I'll do the trail one way. We ain't
Yeah,
got time for me to do it the second way.
yeah.
That's
I think
super cool.
maybe have a drink when you get to the top and take the
Yeah,
tram down and call it a
yeah,
day, right? Go
yeah.
hang out by the pool. All right. One other thing we want to talk about that happened over the weekend was the U.S. Olympic Trials Marathon, and I know we really pretty much stick to ultra running on this news show, but there was some people that were affiliated with ultra running that ran in the Olympic trials, but the only one that actually uh, placed in the top five was the 50K world record holder CJ Albertson, and he placed fifth with 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's pretty smoking.
Yeah.
Um, and CJ set the 50K world record here in San Francisco. There's a race there's a 5 mile loop around Lake Merced,
Mhm.
which is south of south of where my neighborhood, like south of Golden Gate Park,
Okay.
and it's a 5 mile loop. There's a little bit of gradual climbing on that loop, but he set the 50K world record there, and then the next year I think he broke his 50K world record at the same
Nice.
event. So so he did the Olympic marathon trials and he got 2 hours and 10 minutes to finish fifth. So nobody else really placed in the top five. Des Linden, who
Yeah.
has the women's 50K record for a mixed gender race, she placed 11th. So just wanted to give a shout out. But all right, so we're going to move into the Black Canyon preview.
It kind of what's kind of interesting is where they talk about, I mean, this race is going to happen, here in a couple of days after folks are, I guess, depending on, it's a couple of days from when we're recording it. What's interesting is this race is kind of in danger of sharing a trend with two of the races we've already talked about. And they're looking like they've well, I've got a coworker they've been getting rain for 5 straight days. So this is going to be a insanely fun year. I mean, there's so many things going on. It's going to make this a fun year for this race.
So that's a great point. We actually Johnny sent me a picture earlier of the river, the main river that goes through the course, and literally someone was up to their neck swimming in the river.
Looking kind of full.
And you cross that river, I believe it's 3 times, and
Yeah,
and these are not short river crossings. I mean, those rivers are very wide, or that
to that.
river is very
Yeah,
wide.
I mean, what's kind of funny is there's one crossing in particular I can think of. It's literally at a bend, so it's not like they even went across at a straight part. They went across at a bend that's even wider. Like it's gonna be a
Yeah.
fun year. So the weather's gonna make it fun, but what we're getting ready to talk about is what's really like. There's some young like talent there, and like some crazy fast people.
Yes, this is going to be an uber competitive year, and it's really a must watch if you're a fan of ultra running, because it is the second to last golden ticket race for Western states. So a lot of people are going to be gunning for golden tickets, and like Johnny said, the talent pool in this race this year is just off the charts. I mean, it's almost like Western States Junior.
Mm-hmm. So
um,
I'm going down the notes of like on the note of like just looking at the women. If you go down the women, you look at just winners of races. You got a first, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, double digit. There's double digit of the women if you just count the people who've won races last year.
yeah,
Like it's so crazy.
yeah, it's really going to be interesting. And if anybody wants to watch, if you're not familiar with Jamil Curry's Mountain Outpost, he actually has a YouTube channel where they use to do their live streams for Air Viper races and other races that contract them out. So just go to YouTube and do a search for Mountain Outpost, and you can find links to the live streams for Black Canyon. There's 2 live streams, and when we did it last year, Johnny and I ran that race, and some other friends. They did the live stream, and they actually did the golden hour for the Western States
Yeah.
qualifier, which was kind of cool too. So got me on camera falling over the finish line. But anyways, so yeah, have you seen the weather forecast, John? Oh, that was the other
That's
thing
it.
I wanted to say. Mayor,
Yeah.
Arizona. I saw a
Yeah.
picture of Mayer, Arizona, which is where the race starts, and it was buried in snow.
What?
Yeah, I
I
don't know
mean,
where I saw that.
I mean, going back to it being super wet this year, that's going to melt, right? There's no way that stays. I
Yeah,
can't. It's it'd be a cool thing to dip in and check and just see what it looks like there. But
yep.
um,
Okay.
we talked about some of the women in there, right? Some of the women runners. Do you want to
Well,
talk about who we want to
let's
pick to win
go
now?
let's go over a few of the contenders here. Um, some of the names that have been around for a while, like Lucy Bartholomew from Australia, Kat Bradley.
Mm,
She got first at the Javelina 100K, and Kat has been around for a long time. I mean, she is just a heck of an ultra runner. Riley Brady, they got third at the Javelina 100 mile. Riley is a really strong runner, and Tara Dower, who's actually I just was hearing Carl Meltzer on a podcast today, and he's actually her coach.
oh, really?
Uh, yeah, but she's the one that in the Keep Ultra Running Weird Awards that fell into a one of
The
those
cactus.
that
Yeah,
starts with a C.
yeah.
She had those bits of cactus all over her. Like that was crazy. Um, and yeah, Anna Mae Flynn, Anna Cautious from San Francisco. Uh, yeah, there's just tons and tons of talented runners here. Sarah Beal from
Mhm.
Ohio,
Mhm.
very strong runner. First at JFK 50 mile, which
Yeah,
2022.
that was last year. Well, so she was out this race last year when we ran it too, and dropped.
Mm,
So this is a get back, get revenge kind of year for her here.
yep. So yeah, so it would be interesting to see what happens. And then yeah, we can go into the men. Uh, so Dylan Bowman, Debo from Free Trail, elite ultra runner, has his own multimedia company for ultra running. They put on a few races too in partnership with with a race company. Um, he is crewing for this guy Andrew Bumbalo, and it's Andrew's first ultra marathon, and he is a 2:10 marathon runner. But Debo is going to be crewing for him, so you got the inexperience with tons of speed, but you have Debo that's going to talk him through the things he doesn't know. So
But but I mean, we've all watched our buddies who are fast be like, I'm feeling great, and what are we're like, dude, don't do it,
yep,
and they just don't listen. The fast dudes never listen until they're like, I don't understand, my legs are still so heavy. Well, yeah, yeah. Turns out you're
I
not running a marathon.
yeah, I think experience has a lot to do with that
Yeah.
too. Um, and then Justin Grunwald, he's just a grinder. He's been around forever. Mark Hammond, he's another one that's been around forever.
Hmm.
Super fast. He got first at I Am Tough last year. Hayden Hawks, another legend. First at Canyons,
Yeah.
50K. Canyons 50K last year. Jared Hazen, one of the Coconino Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
He he went sub 15 at Western States the year that Walmsley set the record. And Jared Hazen got second. David Laney, another big name. Ryan Miller, Ryan Montgomery, and yeah, John Ray, who's an up and comer. Um, Jeffrey Stern. Jeffrey Stern took first at Mountain Mist. He's the one that race directed Tamalpa 50K last year. He's a writer for Ultra Running Magazine. And Tim Tollefson, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Now
Yeah.
we have this other guy, Hans Troyer. So Hans is very he's young. He's I don't know how old he is, maybe early 20s.
Oh yeah, I think he's less than 22. Like yeah,
Yeah.
uber young guy,
So
uber young.
yeah, so Hans, I think was a really good college runner, and then started jumping into ultras just very recently. He won 250Ks, and then he went out and he won Bandera 100K. Like
Hmm.
he crushed the field. The
They
course is
they
a little
say he
short,
didn't. Yeah, so he doesn't get to have the title of course record, but
right?
still, I don't know how short, but yeah, that killed it.
He did beat Walmsley's course record, but they're
Yeah,
saying the course was a little short.
yeah.
So okay. So Hans is running, but Hans said he had some Achilles issues, so he was not he was a little down about that on Strava the other day. And just an update from his Twitter feed on what's going on here. Let me just share this. Can you hear this,
I
John?
come to you with a running update. As some of y'all know, traveling to Black Canyon or traveling to Arizona to race Black Canyon. I'm in Dallas right now. We actually we missed our flight to Phoenix, so
Jeez.
we're gonna be at the airport for a while. We had to purchase more tickets, and we're now flying to Las Vegas, then driving the rest of the way.
Oh,
We'll
get
make
out of here,
Phoenix like 4 or 5 in the morning. It's gonna be great. Keeping high spirits about it, but yeah, that's my update. Um,
dude.
no shakeout run today. It's gonna be all good. Can try and sleep in the car. All is well.
Dude, what
He-
in the absolute world?
he's a little flustered, you can tell.
I mean, but just like we were talking about the other youngster that's in the race this year, the new up and comer, just like that guy, super young.
Yeah.
This just reeks of you know what I mean? Like, oh wait, I don't have a coach and everyone getting my college cross country stuff ready for me. Oh, I got to do it. Oh my gosh, the overtraining, like you had said earlier, right? Like you and I were
Yeah.
talking. You said he's been knocking out 100-mile weeks. Like, what are we
100,
talking about?
120-mile weeks.
Crazy talk.
And
But
that's that's kind of what Walmsley did when he was younger. He was putting in these crazy 100
yeah,
mile weeks and just running like a wild banshee. you know?
I, I mean, I guess in a weird way, right? It's like high risk, high reward. Like you can like
That's true.
it's crazy. So
It all
he's
depends.
I can't imagine that dude even has close to a like top 10. Like I don't. He might be able to crack top 10 now. That's
Yeah.
he. Oof.
So with his Achilles, like,
Yeah,
and the Achilles, like, here's another thing that comes with inexperience, right? Oftentimes with big races on your taper, you get phantom pains. You get, there's stuff where you swear you're
yeah. Like,
injured.
oh, why's
Once
my
the
knee
race
hurt so bad?
starts,
Yeah, yeah.
it's fine.
Crazy.
So it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's going on. We were really looking forward to following him in this race because he is very energetic. He's pretty charismatic. He's really excited about ultra running, so it's been kind of fun to follow. But we'll
Uh,
see. We'll see if he can hang with the big people.
if it was betting world, I would try to put some money down on him. But then
Yeah,
stuff started like, whew, glad I didn't place that bet. That's
yeah.
rough.
I was gonna go with the free trail,
Yeah,
uh, fantasy ultra running site. So this is another thing that we wanted to bring
yeah.
up before we make our picks. Uh, the If you go to free trails or just Google free trail fantasy ultra running, I gotta pull this up here. Here it is. you Google Free Trail Fantasy Ultra Running, and I'll blow this up so people can see. It's cool. It's just like fantasy football, but it's for ultra running. You can see they've already did the Hong Kong 100K, which I did not get in on. But Black Canyon is next, so there's still time. You can get in there and make your picks up until race start on Saturday morning. So if you're listening to
So
this
cool.
And you're interested, just go to Black Canyon. Fantasy or Free Trail Fantasy Ultra Running. Google that, find the link. I'll put it in the show notes too. And you can actually go and see. I can't. Oh, I'm gonna click on the Hong Kong 100K, and guess who? in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. Jim
Yeah.
Walmsley.
So
Jim
almost
Walmsley's
like
making fantasy picks.
almost like he knows what's going on or has the secret. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So, anyways, so it's kind of a cool deal. But all right, Johnny, you ready? You ready to?
Yeah, I got
make-
my people picked out. I think I got my people picked. So we can let's start with the women, and I'll go ahead and put my two out there first.
right.
The first one is who I think is going to win. I'm gonna roll with Tara here. Now, I also do want to find out. So if any of our listeners can tell me, is it Tara or Tara? I went to school with a girl whose name was spelled like this, and she used to beat people up who called her Tara. Or I'm sorry, she used to beat people up who called her Tara because her name was Tara. I can't keep it right, but anywho, that's who I think is going to win this year. Now, who I truly want to win is obviously Sarah Beal from Columbus, Ohio. Like I think that'd be cool. Like we talked about a little earlier, she won JFK last year. Got to the race, got to Black Canyon last year. Had a little bit of a hamstring issue, I think, if I recall right, and like recognized her early in the race, so bowed out. So I think she's coming back in this year healthy. She's obviously really fast. She won JFK, so that's who I'm going to take for the women.
All right, that's pretty solid selection. I'm all geared up here to do the Black Canyon picks. I got my Black Canyon shirt on from last year. I got the picture I took from the Black Canyon course was my background this week. So a couple Easter eggs there if anybody caught that. But anyway, I think so. My pick for first place females is Anna Cautious, and I'm picking her because she's from San Francisco. 1, 2, she's fast as hell, and 3, she won Javelina 100K last year. So I think she's going to do really well, and I would say second place female. It's really tough because there's so many that could that could do it, but I'm going to go with Riley Brady, and Riley identifies as non-binary, but is competing in the women's race. So I'm going with Riley for second place. Riley is a very strong runner. Got third at Javelina last year. So
earlier when we were talking about the women runners, and you were talking about Anna, I was like, ooh, that's a good pick. That's a good one. When we talk about that, I was like, yeah, she has. Like you're talking about being in San Francisco and like already used to running out there in the desert. And one of those, like, ooh, he might have me on that one. That's a good pick.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's being recorded, so
it's on there.
All right. So who do you got for the men?
Okay. So what's weird is I actually found this one to be quite a bit harder for some reason because it is. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like I said, when we first talked about Han Troyer winning Bandera, when we first talked about that, I'm like, you know what? This dude might go out there, but age it should, what it does, the youngness and the kind of the stuff that's going on. So, anywho, uh, I I'm leaning Ryan Montgomery. I think I'm gonna go Ryan Montgomery is who I think's gonna pull this out. Had a good year last year. Young dude, really starting to hit their stride. I'm going with Ryan Montgomery.
Ryan is a really solid pick. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if he's not first. I guess I would be surprised if he's, or yeah, I would be surprised if Ryan's not on the podium at a minimum, if not first. Do you have a second place?
Yeah, you and I talked about this a little bit. You're like, "Oh, he's old." I'm like, dude, Hayden Hawks.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. It might maybe this will maybe I've just watched too many of his Instagram stuff. Like, damn, this dude's like putting in some work. Like maybe it's that. I don't know. If I'm taking a second, I can't go wrong with Hayden Hawks.
That's another solid pick. Hayden is, he's very experienced ultra runner, a solid runner. Got first at Canyons 50K last year, so no doubt he could be right in there. For my first place male, I'm going with one of these young gun.
You talked about it.
Not the two young guns that you're thinking about, but
okay.
another young gun who actually set the course record in the Javelina 100 mile in the fall, and that's John Ray.
Yeah.
I sent you that video. I watched him doing his speed workouts and stuff. I think John Ray he's my pick for first at Black Canyon.
When you sent that, I kind of figured like, oh, he's definitely rolling with him for his pick. When you sent that,
yeah. So I definitely think John can get first. Second place was, like you said, this is really tough because there's so much talent in here. I think I'm gonna roll with local. I'm going with my local for me, Jeffrey Stern.
Oh, I'm wrong. I thought I knew who your number 2 is going to be. I thought you were saying go with Andrew. I thought you were saying go with that dude.
I thought about it because I did. I actually just flopped like right at the last minute. The only thing with Andrew Bumbleout is that he's never run an ultra.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just too many unknowns. Even if you have the crew of Debo telling you what to do,
what to expect. Yeah.
I don't know. I think experience will trump that. But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this.
So, but your number 2 was who? Was it Matt, right?
Jeffrey Stern.
Jeff. Okay. All right. Yeah. Why him? Just because he's a fellow.
He's local.
Bay Area guy?
He's local, and I think he's hitting his stride this year. He got first at Mountain Mist.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
That could be that. That's I mean, it's easy article writing for his staff then, right? Like that should be that should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. And yeah, I think Jared Hazen might get a podium. I don't know, Jared. I don't know if he's been injured or what's been going on with him. Like the last couple of years, he hasn't been. Something's been off with Jared, but if he's back in like 2019 form, look out. Ryan Miller is another one that could easily scorch that course. So, so it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So that's our picks. All right. We just have 2 more things to talk about today. One is, so the American Trail Running Association, this they have an article about including this new technology called Active Track in their event standard program. So at the U.S. Trail Conference in Washington, they came across the owner of Active Track, and they learned that it has a wide range of services. It can do timing, runner tracking, personalized videos, and live streaming, and it maintains a very small mobile footprint. It's one of the reasons that ATRA, American Trail Running Association, is excited about it. So this is a really cool system, Active Track. It's small, and it
What,
it
when we're
tracks
talking about
runners.
small, just for people like there's a picture of it. It's like a igloo cooler, like a Yeti or something like that. You know what I mean? That's all the bigger it is. It's like if you think of a stereotypical cooler you'd take out to a camping trip, it's about that size. That's it. Like it's a crazy small footprint.
Yep. So they put these units at different places on the course, and they're currently run off cell phone towers for connection, but they've devised a way to build their own network on the trail, so you don't even need cell phone connection or Wi-Fi or anything. It'll go through their own network back to a central spot that does have connection.
Crazy. That's
And
crazy.
and so, and it's all run off these little it tracks runners to these little RFID tags that can go, I believe it goes on the bib, or it's like
Well,
a
on the
snap
one, yeah, on the
bracelet.
one picture, at the top of the article, it almost looks like it's look right there. It
Oh,
almost
there
looks
it
like a
is.
wristband. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
let
like
me blow this up. Yeah, it is. It's like a wristband. That's what it is. It's a slap bracelet.
yeah,
So yeah, they have a RFID tag in that bracelet. Now, this is going to be way better than those spot trackers that they do for some mountain races now, that they make you carry, that actually has a weight and you have to
yeah.
attach it to your vest and everything. Like, this is going to be way better. And another cool thing about this is it it's real time live streaming and positioning. Spot trackers, it sometimes it lags and it catches up, but this, you're going to be able to see exactly real-time statistics. You're going to see the
Yeah,
pace that they're going, their overall pace, like anything you can think of, it's going to be there. And it's going to be connected to, they're going to put video cameras all over the course at different places, and basically it'll alert people that are watching their runner on the live stream. It'll alert them when they're coming up to a camera, so that they can tune into that particular live stream and watch their runner come through on the camera.
it's not like what we were doing when we were watching Big's backyard, where you're just sitting there, you're literally watching a trail for like
Yeah.
40 minutes, and all seriousness, you know, like
Mhm.
coming down. The other thing, you and I had briefly talked about this back to like it being like a slap band.
Yeah.
Like, this will sound bougie. I know they get made fun of for this, but like I I hate putting bibs on because I don't want to put the holes into anything I have, the gear, the shirt, the shorts. So I my understanding is the reason you have the numbers to track you, right? Like
Yeah.
there's like little things on the back, or maybe just even the old schoolness of having a number. I really hope that if this catches on really good, that your number, your bib is the slap. That would be
Yeah.
amazing. Like no more
Oh,
bibs. Oh, huge.
way better.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not bougie at all. I hate putting that bib on, 'cause you got like folded and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing pinned through. God, just give me the wrist bracelet.
yeah. All day,
Let's
all
go.
day. Yeah, this would be
Here's like
super
the
cool.
cameras, I think, um, which is like state of the art, or maybe that's the antenna
That's the
tower.
antennas. Yeah,
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 that's the
yeah.
antenna. I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is the antenna. It looks kind of crazy. Um, yeah, so this article, and I'll link this in the show notes as well. this article if people want to check it out. But it's pretty cool. So they actually or go to Active Track's website, and
The website's pretty nice. I spent some time on it. I was like, oh, that's some cool stuff.
yep. So just for an example, you can go to watch past events, and they did. Oops, I did not want to do that.
Turkey trot on there.
Yeah, so a lot of these don't have the video, but one that does, and I think it's one of their trial events, was Chuck Nut 50K in Washington in March of last year. And for those of you listening on the podcast, we're pulling up the live streams that they had from Chuck and Nut, and there's one at the start, one at 6.5 miles, one at 3.5 miles, another 1, 2, 3, 4,
There's
5, 6,
tons.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 15 live streams
Yeah.
on there that you can literally like click on. If you were watching during the race, you could literally click on any of those live streams just to like watch your runner. So
it's really cool.
Yeah, so this is really state of the art, and it's lightweight, and it's going to be pretty accurate. So I think this is the future of runner tracking, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool just to see us showing up at like local events around me. Like, I think this is really cool.
Yeah, and there is some cost involved. They said what it costs. Active Track startup system with 2 readers and 1,000 reusable tags would cost under $5,000, not tens of thousands of dollars. So it is. I mean, it's kind of expensive. But maybe it would pay for itself after a while. I don't know.
You know who I rarely see like becoming partners is this and Ultra Sign Up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the partnership right there. Like they could just
I think they could get it by the SEC because it's 2 different two different types of businesses.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go move on to our last story. Okay, so this guy, Will Sprouse, I heard him on the Adventure Jogger podcast, and I was just blown away. Like, I had never heard this guy's story. But he was the most recent person to finish 100 milers. Okay. Now, he didn't start running hundreds until 2012. And he's done 100 milers in what, 12 years?
Not even 12 years. Not even 12. You know what I mean? Like it's just now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. So, yeah, 100 hunters in 12 years.
Yep. I think he started with Rocky Raccoon actually. So
I think the weird, funny part about this twist is I think he did also. I'm pretty sure he did. And like you said, like the odds of there ever being a person I've heard of that you haven't heard of is slim to nil. But you'd never heard of him. Until you had brought this up to my attention, I'd never heard of the guy. But like you said, he's been around for a minute, and you even found an even older article about him, right? Like the restaurant one or something like that.
Yeah. So IRunFar had an article about him. Yeah. So he is a restaurant owner, and he actually had a stroke as well. He had a hole in his heart, like a birth defect that he didn't know about. And that was in 2021, I believe. So he had a stroke in the middle of this 12 years of running, or 10 years of running 100 milers. And I guess he came back from his stroke like pretty quickly. But yeah, so he has a restaurant called the Aid Station Pub and Pizza, and that's one of the things that he fuels with. Is he makes this special pizza for his races, and it has double crust on top, crust on bottom. It's listen to the ultra or Adventure Jogger podcast with this guy. It's awesome, but it's a supreme pizza with jalapenos, and
man.
he puts it in baggies and he eats that. But that's not his only source of fuel. His other primary source of fuel is beer, and
a lot of it.
And I'm not even talking about like lawnmower beers. I'm not talking about PBR or anything like that.
Champagne of beer.
He says his favorite is IPA.
Yeah.
But he drinks all kinds of beers during races. He'll leave an aid station and take 4 beers with him. And
dude,
he says he doesn't get drunk. He says the alcohol is like sugar. It goes right into your bloodstream, and he doesn't get drunk. And the most he ever drank in a 100-miler was 31 beers. He's like a 30 pack, just
a casual 30 rack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
crush a 30 pack of beers. He was talking about some race that had kegs one time, and he was like, "This is like the greatest race ever." And
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to go to Kansas just to go to a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's a part of me.
That would be really cool. So yeah, he said they have 17 craft beers on tap. All of his belt buckles are on the wall. Yeah. So very interesting guy.
Yeah.
His first ultra was Rocky Raccoon in 2012. Yeah. So I highly recommend listening to him on the Adventure Jogger. And he's not just limited to like easy 100-milers. I mean, he's done Cruel Jewel. He's done some hard 100-milers too. So, and then on the Adventure Jogger, they go pretty in depth into his beer drinking during races and his stroke and his pizza for fuel. So, Will Sprouse, congrats on 100-milers. That's
hats off to you, sir.
Pretty epic. I think I think he's like the 28th person, if I'm not mistaken, the 28th person to reach 100-milers. So he's in very, very elite company, like,
for sure.
All right. Well, let us know, everyone. Let us know what your Black Canyon picks are, if you have any, or go over to Free Trail, make some fantasy picks if you want. But we'll recap the race on the next episode, and give us a like, or if you're listening on a podcast, if you don't mind, just give us a rating. Just give us the best rating that you can give us. Like, if you're gonna rate us less than 5, then you can just skip it. It's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. Don't worry about it. We'll forgive you.
Yeah, but no, we really appreciate everybody that has been listening. We're hoping to grow it, but the people that are listening now are the kind of the OG listeners, and
you will not be forgotten.
We appreciate you tuning in. We just we like ultra running and like to have fun conversations about it. So hope everyone's enjoying it.
Cool.
All right. Anything else, Johnny?
I don't have anything. Hope everyone enjoys the great weather. I know Ohio, we're looking at 50, 60. So get out, enjoy the weather, and
nice.
If you're running something, good luck.
Yeah, no doubt. We're supposed to have some nice weather here this weekend too. So looking forward to it. All right. We'll catch everybody on the next one.
All right. See you.